program, but before I do, I want to talk a little bit about the values that drive our program in creating clear pathways in the building trades. So, I want to share my perspective as an industrial tech teacher. I spent 18 years as a licensed carpenter, licensed contractor, licensed in all the major cities here in our region. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I pursued a business degree. And I never considered becoming a high school teacher until I was approached by Shane Kaneki, who told me that they were unable to fill the vacant positions in the industrial technology department, and that I could become licensed as a teacher based on my industry experience through the career and technical education license. So after much consideration, I decided to move from blue-collar work into white-collar work with a 40% pay cut. And so that drives my perspective as an industrial tech teacher. So I want to talk about the narrative of Iowa students. So let's imagine one Iowa student who's at ease in the classroom environment, sitting, reading, typing, discussing, researching, has a high cognitive skill, learns by reading, hearing, seeing, and doing, prefers traditional academic work over physically demanding work, might enjoy discussing, planning, group research work, and plans to attend a college or university. I would say that every high school in Iowa has a clear pathway to higher learning and careers for this student. Now imagine another student. This student is not at ease in the traditional classroom environment, sitting, reading, typing, researching. Also has a high cognitive skill, but learns by doing, prefers to learn by doing, and has a high psychomotor skill, which is the ability to manipulate things with your hands, the ability to build. Enjoys physically demanding tasks over sitting, prefers doing over talking about doing, and is driven by the satisfaction of a completed product or project. And I would ask, in Iowa, does every high school have a clear pathway to higher learning and careers for this student? So I want to talk about two real students that I had recently. The first student, 4.0 GPA, 99th percentile on the ACT. Absolutely brilliant young man. A young man who regularly in my class struggled with simple design concepts and construction concepts. Regularly struggled with the psychomotor skills or the physical skills associated with building. Another student who was failing almost every other class that he was taking, yet he intuitively understood the design and construction concepts that I was trying to teach and could easily connect the new things he was being taught with the old things that he already knew. And he easily mastered the physical ability to manipulate things or to build. Two very different students, both extremely intelligent, but possessing very different aptitudes. And so my question is, what can Iowa do to celebrate and encourage the aptitudes in the student who prefers that his or her collar be blue? So at North Scott, we're taking a four-part approach to that. First is we're working to change the perceptions of the skilled trades. We want students to know that there's the potential for very high wages and benefits in the skilled trades. We want them to know that the skilled trades require intelligence. We're debunking the myth that the people who enter the skilled trades are just the people who weren't smart enough to go to college. We are celebrating the aptitudes that are unique and valuable to those types of students. We wanted to know that there's low and potentially no tuition costs associated with a lot of these skilled trades. Your employer will often pay for you to get the training that you need. And we encourage our students to pursue some form of higher education to set themselves apart in their industry, whether that be a certification, apprenticeship, a trade school, or others. And lastly, we want our students to know that the skilled trades are not just for men. Some of my most high-achieving students have been outstanding young women. Next, we're working to provide competitive advantage for our students. So we want to give them immersive experiences like the Student Home program, that's our capstone program, where they can develop foundational trades, understandings that they can build upon when they enter the workforce. When you apply for a job or apply for an apprenticeship, and you say, I built a house from the ground up, that looks pretty good on a resume. Training and employment opportunities like the Quality Career Apprenticeship Program through the U.S. Department of Labor. We're one of 13 schools that are approved for that. We're very proud of that. A pipeline into apprenticeships immediately post-graduation. Certifications awarded in high school. They receive their OSHA 10 training in high school that they can take to an employer. And courses where they receive not only high school credit, but also college credit, and then job shadows as well. The third area is collaboration with industry. We partner with local businesses who provide advisory on our content, just like every other high school. We want them to help us to make sure that we're providing relevant and current content to our students. Those businesses also provide internship opportunities. They come in as guest speakers and they speak to our classes and say, hey, these are some opportunities that are available out there for you. Come talk to us and we'll tell you more about them. Some of those businesses have sponsored some of the industry standard equipment that we need to be relevant. Some of the materials, some of the modules that we have built, which I'll show you here in a moment. And then they collaborate with us to develop industry standard training experiences. One of the things that's in the works this year is the development of an HVAC, heating and air conditioning module that we're working with some local industry reps on. And the fourth area is 21st century skills. We integrate this into all of our curriculum: teamwork, communication, reliability, leadership. And then we have an intervention system that provides interventions for students not only in the area of where they need to develop in their content skill, but also specifically directed towards the development of 21st century skills, because we believe those are so vitally important to their success as they enter the workforce. So we believe that if we can build a confidence in the hearts of our students that a blue collar is just as valuable and important to society as a white collar, if we can create experiences that give students a competitive advantage when they reach the workforce, if we can collaborate with industry to improve our programs, and if we can help them to develop the 21st century skills that are so necessary for them to succeed in the workplace, then we will have succeeded in giving them a clear pathway to success. So some of the things that we're doing, at North Scott, we're moving away from that traditional model of woodworking, because you can't get a job woodworking. At least there's not very many of them out there that I can think of. We're moving towards experiences that directly relate to a marketable skill. So as freshmen, they're going to learn the basics, measurement, safety, equipment use, design, and construction. And then as sophomores, they're going to move into experiences that directly relate to the building trades. On the left there, you can see a model of our 2014 student home. Our sophomores built that while our seniors built the actual home in Donahue. That was our first student home program at North Scott. You'll see the sophomores learning to do drywall work, learning to do concrete work down in the lower right. And then their junior year, we move into much larger group work where they do things like our shed module, where they learn framing, truss design and construction, roofing, siding, door installation. The elements of the shed, they mirror the elements of a real home with overhang, soffit, fascia work, all the things that they'll need to learn in order to enter into those trades. We go into the plumbing module where they learn the installation and repair of sinks, toilets, showers, hot water heaters, water supply systems, drain waste vent systems. And when we turn on the water and we check for leaks, these guys are engaged, they're having fun with this, and they're learning. Then we move into our electrical module where they learn electrical safety, the basics of residential wiring and troubleshooting. And just like with the plumbing module, when we flip the switch to see if that light turns on, these guys are engaged. And then our capstone program, the student home. We started this in 2014 because we had too many applicants for the 12 spots that were available within Davenport's student home. And so now our top 24 students spend their senior year building a home from the ground up. And we've built homes ranging in value from $200,000 to $400,000. And every year, I oversee this program. Every year I'm amazed at what these students accomplish. It's absolutely outstanding. And so my last slide here, I want to tell you that every spring, actually throughout the year, we have many employers approach us to say, hey, we know that you guys are creating students who know and understand the building trades. Can you send some students our way? Some of them come to us looking for kids right out of the student built home. They want to hire them full time. And then we have others that approach us looking for students who are juniors in high school. They want to try them out over the summer. They want to see what their work ethic looks like over the summer. And most of those students go on to be hired full time post-graduation. So at this time, I'm going to invite Garrett Buckland, a former student, to come up and share his experience with you.
Hello, I'm Garrett Buckland. I'm just going to give a brief testimony, essentially, about my experience with trades classes and where it's gotten me in life today. So just a little background on me. I'm 20 years old, and I graduated from North Scott High School 2 years ago. So the first time I was introduced to a trades class was my junior year. I wasn't really interested in my freshman and sophomore year, but I got into it my junior year. And that is, the main project that year was, instead of a shed, we did a deer blind, which was essentially a shed where we did, on the small scale, the correct ways to frame, sheet it, do roofing, all the stuff that we would be exposed to with senior year in home building, just on a small scale. But this class was a big turning point in my life because up until that point, I had fully intended on going to a university to get a degree in business because we had grown up being taught that if you want to get a good job and you want to make money, you need to go to the university and get a degree. But this class was very influential because it had opened my eyes to the opportunities in trades and the help that the industry needed, all the good skilled workers. So from that point on, I realized this is what I want to do. I want to work in the trades. So I went on to do home building my senior year, and that was by far the best experience I had in all of my school. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it, and it was just the greatest time I've ever had. So what we did there, just to iterate on what you said, we literally built the house from the foundation up. We framed it, we drywalled it, we did the flooring, siding, set trusses, roofed it, we did everything, and that house eventually sold. So that gets me to where I am today. I'm an industrial electrician, or apprentice, for a company called River Cities Engineering, and from what I understand, that company came to North Scott High School asking if anybody in the class would be interested in going through the apprenticeship. And my teacher saw that I was interested and he told me he wanted me to apply for that job. So I interviewed and ended up getting the job. So I now work there as a second